In October 2022, fire gutted one of the dormitories at Salaama School for the Blind in Mukono district, killing 11 learners. A month later, government issued fresh guidelines aimed at curbing fire outbreaks in schools. The schools were required to, among other guidelines, put in place fire safety measures like portable extinguishers, fire hoses and water hydrants, as well as developing emergency plans and preparations. They were also asked to put up lightning arresters and ensure structural safety measures. Each classroom was required to have a provision for an emergency exit, and all dormitories were required to have an occupancy permit issued by a competent authority. However, government has established that most schools across the country have not implemented these guidelines, and fire outbreaks continue to happen in schools. This is according to the study conducted by various government agencies, including the National Building Review Board, the Ministry of Education and Sports, as well as Uganda Police Force, among others, between May 2022 and May 2023. The study covered 120 schools, both at primary and secondary level. Half of the schools are government-owned and another half are privately owned.
Whereas all the schools that were visited were accessible by a fire tender, some of the buildings within these schools could not be accessed. So you have the main gate where a truck can come through, but not all the buildings within the school complex could be accessed. Meaning, if there was a fire in one of the buildings, the fire truck would not be able to help it.
According to the study, only 3 of the 120 schools inspected had carried out a fire assessment by the time of the survey. None of the schools had a hydrant on site for fire emergencies, while just 30% of the schools had installed fire detection and alarm systems. Most of the dormitories were overcrowded. Consequently, the committee arrived at various recommendations, with public sensitization and coordination of various sector players coming out strong.
There are various sector players that have an input into the safety of children, ranging from central government right down to local government and the private sector. And then the final recommendation was enhancing the enforcement mechanisms. Yes, that the laws are there, everything is there, all the requirements have been given to you, but you are still not doing what you're supposed to do. So what should we do? We should enforce.
The major causes of fire outbreaks have been identified as human actions like arson, negligence, for instance, charcoal stoves kept under the bed, smoking materials, and electric faults. Others are natural occurrences like lightning and maintenance works like welding. Now, the National Building Review Board has asked building committees and building control officers across the country to ensure that all schools within their jurisdictions are inspected and issued with certificates of inspections. School administrators have also been asked to implement the guidelines issued by government to prevent outbreak of school fires. Daniel, KIBET, NTV, Tonight.